welcome inside. Getting loose with Leon, motor racing news and bets without access. You got your host, Big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside you at the hour of 9 a.m. on the East Coast, the year of our Lord, 2025, March 29th here, as we get ready for a fun weekend NASCAR rolling into Martinsville. We know there'll be some beating and some banging there, some tippers flaring, always is on the paperclip. We'll get into that just a little bit, and also some F1 news, a little silly season going on in the middle of the season for F1 as Yuki Tsunoda now steps up to Red Bull with Liam Lawson being demoted to Visa, Cash App, Red Bull, insert name here, whatever they want to call it. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hey, in the meantime, make sure to like, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, help us grow this channel as we try to get out there and do a little bit more content and get a little bit more news out there. Hey, we've hit the last 4 out of 5 weeks on bets. So if anything, that's a reason to follow along and join in here. Help me make you some money right here on this channel, Getting Loose with Leon. So, all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. The big news of the week, of course, after two very disappointing stints as Max Verstappen's teammate, Liam Lawson demoted back to Visa Cash at Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda taking over there as F1 rolls into Japan next week for the Japanese Grand Prix. And by the way, if you're Yuki, you got to be stoked. It's your home race. You're the only Japanese driver in the field in F1. It's your home race. And now you're Max Verstappen's teammate. Now you have the other seat, that coveted second seat at Red Bull. This is your opportunity. This is your chance. And you're doing it in your home race with a whole nation behind you. I imagine that's a world of pressure, but I also imagine that's a world of opportunity. And this is the kind of thing where, hey, big time people step up and seize those opportunities there. Look, Liam Lawson was put into a tough spot. Sergio Perez obviously wasn't pulling his weight, I guess you could say, at Red Bull. They didn't win the Constructors' Championship last year, but you make the move to Liam Lawson. Some felt it was a little rushed. Some felt Yuki wasn't ready. There were questions about his preparation. There were questions about his fitness, about his attitude, all these things. You go with Liam Lawson. There's a lot of young promise in him, and he just wasn't ready. Not for that car, not for that opportunity. And we're going to find out now if is this Red Bull car a tractor? Is Max Verstappen the only one that can pull something out of it? Is there a bigger issue at hand, or was it just a driver? We'll see when you gets into it. Obviously, this car is set up for Max, so we'll see what happens here. Max Verstappen, speaking to the Telegraph there, he was upset. I know Helmet talked about this. Some other people have talked about this. Max wasn't happy. They need to have two cars up front. They're contending for the Constructors' Championship here, and they want to use Yuki's experience from this point forward. Max actually clicked like on a Instagram post, kind of criticizing Red Bull, kind of being snap with this move here. Only a couple races into the season, but hey, I mean, it's business. It's not personal. You're already falling behind to McLaren in the standings. You lose the Constructors' Championship to McLaren last year. You want to rip the Band-Aid off and get back into this thing. And obviously, Liam Lawson was showing he just wasn't the guy early on. And I don't know, you can call me crass, but sometimes it's good to know early on if things don't work to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. And it may be early, but sometimes you can tell something's just not working. It's like a bad relationship. Rather than stick this thing out 3-4 years. If it's not working, a couple of weeks in, go ahead and pull the Band-Aid and rip it. It's better for both parties. And maybe, Liam can go back down to Visa Cash App Red Bull, a car that, hey, he beat the hell out of Daniel Ricciardo, last year after he took over for Daniel. You saw what he did. He did much better in that car, a car that suits him a little bit better. Maybe, now being, I guess, maybe the number one guy there now. He can kind of hone himself a little bit and prepare himself for the next opportunity. Maybe it was too much, too fast for him at this current time. But that's the big news in the F1. We'll get into that more next week as we get ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. But obviously, we got a NASCAR race to talk about as they roll into Martinsville, Virginia. Paperclip Sunday, 3 o'clock on FS1, the Cookout 400. Oh, Cookout, I love you so much. If you want to sponsor this show, please reach out and do that. Cookout or anyone, but yeah, if you can give me a big double burger, yeah, that would be great. Just lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, onions. That's fantastic. Cookout and one of those milkshakes on the side there. Cookout's always great. But yeah, Cookout 400 there at Martinsville. Let's go ahead and take a look at the favorites this week and get into it. All right. Ryan Blaney, overall favorite right now. He's plus 450. You can get him right now on FanDuel. He originally opened the week. I want to say it was plus 500. Got bet down a little bit right now to plus 450. You can get him on FanDuel. Ryan Blaney is coming off a rough stretch right now. I mean, obviously, three straight DNFs. We've had some things happen. Engines blow up. You typically don't expect that from Penske, but hey, shit happens. Engines blow up. He's got involved in some wrecks and stuff. You know he's going to be pressing to have a good showing here after three straight DNFs. He is tempting the standing still. Not where they want to be over these last few weeks, but this is a track that they've run really well at. In fact, in the next gen era, his average finish at Martinsville is 3.5 in this next gen car at Martinsville. And then you go back and look, a lot of this dominance that he's had has been in the fall. Two fall race wins in the next gen era. He's picked up 44 stage points, led 177 laps here in the next gen era. And he's got six straight top tens here at Martinsville. So clearly, if this is a situation where they're going to get things back on track, back on track, this 12 team, this is going to be a track where they can do it, where they're familiar. Obviously, they're a little bit more dominant in the fall. We've seen Hendrick in this next gen era absolutely eviscerate the spring races, including that 1, 2, 3 last year. But if Ryan Blaney is going to get things back on track, I know I've been pumping him so far this year. Obviously, three straight DNFs, not where they want to be, but if they're going to turn things around, this is going to be the kind of track to do it. Speaking of turning things around, Denny Hamlin, I mean, I feel like no one's talking about him going into this week right now. And, Denny obviously not having the season that he wants to have right now, but this guy is the master at Martinsville. Okay. This guy has five of those big ass grandfather clocks for a reason. He is simply dominant here. He's the most wins of any active driver at Martinsville. I still got a stat there on Miami on that graphic. You can disregard that. Stat team here forgot to update that, but that's okay. But you go back to Martinsville. Denny has led the second most laps in the next gen era at this track. 461 laps he's led in the next gen car here, only behind Chase Elliott. He's got five wins here. This is a guy that's always dominant here. He's guys from Virginia. Obviously, Richmond is his home track, but he drives really well at Martinsville here too. You can get him at plus 750 right now on BetMGM. That is a tantalizing number for me. So I definitely am putting something in on that with Denny Hamlin here. Also this week, we mentioned Ryan Blaney. Ross Chastain, top 10 for Ross is at plus 120. You can get that right now on Bet Rivers, plus 120 for a top 10 for Ross Chastain. Look, he's got three career top 10s at Martinsville. His average finish here is 9.7. And of course, we all remember 2022. We all remember the Hail Melon. This track is always crazy. It's always unpredictable, always lots of beating and banging and guys spinning each other. Who likes chaos? Ross Chastain likes chaos. Ross Chastain likes to initiate a lot of chaos. This is a perfect track for them to get things back on the winning track over there at Trackhouse. Not putting anything on him to win this week, but I do like a top 10. I think he'll be in the mix here at Martinsville. So you can get him right now at plus 120 on Bet Rivers right now. And then my long shot of the week, Josh Berry. Obviously, these guys riding high. They performed really well the last 3 weeks. You saw the Wood brothers and Josh Berry in victory lane a couple weeks ago. Now he's got an extensive short track background. These Wood brothers, of course, Southwest Virginia guys. Josh Berry, he won his first ever Xfinity Series start at Martinsville back in April of 21. This is a track he has raced well at, in different equipment over the years. It seems like with Wood brothers right now, they have a really good thing going with him. That team is racing really well, and they're kind of a quasi Penske team, sharing some technology and everything with them. This is a guy who I really like a long shot right now at plus 3,000. Josh Berry at plus 3,000 is really interesting to me at a long shot right now. Another guy who I did not put on the graphic this week, but I do like going into this week is Joey Logano. If you are interested in tossing something out on Joey Logano, you can get him right now at plus 1,100 on BetMGM, plus 1,100 on BetMGM right now for Joey Logano. They're 11th in the standings right now, and they have led 247 laps this year, most laps of anyone. Most laps of anyone by far. Actually, I think it's about a 100 lap difference over Ryan Blaney right now, and I believe also Cedric is like at like 159 or something like that. But they've led 247 laps this year. They have no top fives and no top tens and one DNF. You never quite know what this 22 team is doing, where they're going, Joey, week to week. But that car has been fast, just like Ryan Blaney. Those Fords have been fast all year long. There's just things have happened. They haven't finished the way they want to, but I think he's always dangerous at a place like this. And another guy as well, Chase Elliott. In this next gen era, Chase Elliott has led 515 laps at Martinsville, the most of anyone in this current era. He is plus 800. You can get him right now on Bet Rivers, plus 800 on Bet Rivers right now for Chase Elliott. And we've seen Hendrick and that organization, their dominance, at Martinsville during these spring races. So something to keep an eye on there. Two guys that I don't necessarily have on my card this week, but hey, if you're going to put something down on it, you could do a lot worse than sprinkling a little bit on those two. So just to recap for me this week, I like Josh Berry as my long shot, plus 3,000 right now on BetMGM. Give me Ross Chastain for top 10 at plus 120 on Bet Rivers. Ryan Blaney plus 450 for a win on FanDuel. And then, of course, the Commonwealth's native son, Denny Hamlin, plus 750 right now on BetMGM. So should be a good race. Should be lots of beating, lots of banging, lots of short tempers, lots of hurt feelings. I love short track racing, and I love the controversy that always comes along with it. So we'll see what happens in this half-mile paperclip tomorrow on FS1 at 3 o'clock. We'll be right back here next Saturday to talk a little bit about the upcoming weekend and get your bets ready. So until then, we'll see you on Getting Loose with Leon.